This is Michael Orl of MobileBurn.com, and today I have with me the T-Mobile myTouch 3G Slide. It's the latest Android 2.1 powered device to be offered by T-Mobile. You can see it comes in a really slick looking box here, and it goes on sale on June 2nd for $179.99 with contract. So let's open it up and see what we've got inside. Quick look at the box. It's actually plastic even though it looks like metal, but pretty neat nonetheless. Open it up here and see what we've got. It's a getting started guide, SIM card for new subscribers, recycling program information, some information on warranty, accessories, and T-Mobile's hotspots. You can see the device right here. You have the black model. It comes in also white and red. Here is the charger. It's pretty slick looking. It has a full-size USB connector here, which of course means you plug in the USB connector here, and then the micro USB end of it goes onto the phone. We've also got the included stereo earbuds. If I can pull these out here. It's got remote control for changing tracks and answering and ending calls as well. 3.5mm jack, of course. So here's the myTouch 3G Slide itself. I'm going to try to pull off these protective coatings on the touch screen. See, there's none on the back. You open it up, and you see we've got a 4-row QWERTY keyboard here. There's no dedicated row for numbers or anything like that, so it's a pretty normal looking layout. You can see though, we haven't powered it up yet, so I'm assuming that the lighting is going to help, but the numbers and the letters are nearly the same size and same position on the keys. It makes it a little confusing to look at least when the device is powered off, so hopefully that'll improve when we turn it back on. Let's take a quick look at the hardware of the device first though. Of course, we've got this 4-row QWERTY keyboard. We've got hardware keys here up front. It's the Genius key. We'll go into more about that later. Back button, menu button, home button, and then we've got an optical trackpad here on the back of the device. Little T-Mobile logo and a nice dimpled back. High gloss rear back finish here. Speakerphone grill, 5-megapixel camera with an LED flash, and of course the little myTouch logo there. This is the camera shutter button on this edge of the phone. Volume control, very subtle looking over here on the left hand edge of the phone. Up top, power button and 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the bottom we have the micro USB charger port and holes for the microphone. You can also see the little pry point here for removing the rear cover. I'm going to attempt to pull off the rear cover here without hurting myself. There I am. It's a little unusual here. Looks like there's a piece of plastic. The battery's pre-installed, which is unusual, but this piece of plastic here keeps the battery from making contact. So you can see we pull that out there. Take a look at the battery, see if it has any specs on it. It says it is a 1300 milliamp hour battery. Here's the SIM card slot. And while we have the back off, you can see the included, I believe it's an 8 gig card, an included 8 gigabytes micro SD card. I'll stick the battery back in here. And we'll toss the back on it. Snaps on pretty easily. Seems to be in place. There we go. All done. And we'll try powering it up with the power button. The myTouch 3G Slide should be powered up by now, so let's activate the screen with the power button. You can see it has a nice 3.4-inch half VGA resolution display. Unlock it with a swipe gesture and it comes up to the setup screen. So we'll take a quick tour and then I'll set up the device, and right off the bat the device comes up to a screen where you can select a theme. Something new I haven't seen before. I'm going to choose one here. I'm going to choose this one called Palazzo. There's some new setup wizards here that I haven't seen before. Allows you to go through and easily add your various accounts for, say, email and contacts or your social networks, and including setting up your myFaves if you're a myFaves user on T-Mobile. Kind of interesting, but we're going to go directly to the home screen. Since the T-Mobile service on Marco Island, where I am at the moment, is kind of weak, just like with the Sprint device I reviewed yesterday, I've got this one hooked up to a Wi-Fi access point for data so we can do the demonstration. One thing I wanted to point out is I'm not really a fan of the slider. While it has a nice spring to it and it snaps into position well enough, it feels a little rough and a little bit loose. It doesn't really have a real super high quality feel to it, and also even with the backlight on, I'm not digging the way the numbers are as prominently displayed as the letters on the keyboard. I mean, obviously you're going to get used to it and you'll just be using these things kind of blindly and your thumbs will be flying, but just a couple minor things to point out right off the bat. In addition to normal customization, things for the home screen like widgets and shortcuts, myTouch 3G Slide also has it's called My Modes. You can change your theme here, of course. I'll change this back to the default theme just so you can see what it looks like. But on top of that, you can define groupings of settings here, like themes and different lock wallpapers and the ringtones and all sorts of stuff that you can then quickly switch to from one to another. We have right now home and away. We're going to just leave it on home though. But it's kind of like the scenes in regular HTC Sense. Go back to the home screen. You should see the new theme. And there it is, and a little bit different looking than the Palazzo theme. This is the main menu. Quite different looking from a stock Android 2.1, which is refreshing. I'll pull up the Contacts application so you can see what it looks like. Fairly standard looking in terms of the lists and everything. I've got all the contact photos and everything. But you can also define favorite contacts. I'm going to add a fave on the address book here. And we're going to say Darth Tater. Another Man. And I'll add John Doe as well. If I can find them in here. I'm going to jump into the Faves application here. You can see where all the favored contacts all show up in this kind of 3D looking carousel. You can see theoretically messages that have come in from them. I've sent a bunch of test messages from this account though, and they're not showing up here. Email messages aren't showing up. This is a text message I tried to send out, but failed because of lack of connectivity. So I'm not seeing how it works so far. I'm going to have to play around with it a lot more, but for right now it's not working too well for me. It is an opportunity though to show you how the optical D-pad works. I'm moving back and forth with my thumb on the optical controller. Also works in the main menu and things like that. You can see I'm moving around here, scrolling up and down, left and right. You can see it works pretty well. In this case I'm going to press on it, which will bring up the calendar application. I'm going to pull up the messaging application here just so you can see it's threaded text messaging just like instant messaging. I like the feel of the keys. I just don't like the visual look of them. They look too much alike, I guess. Interestingly enough, if you go up into portrait mode, of course you still have the ability to enter in text here, except now you have swipe. I'm very fond of the way swipe works. It does a lot of really cool things. It takes a little time to get used to and to learn the full functionality of it, but it's a really fantastic system. Another piece of the Android 2.1 software that's been changed is the notification bar. Look what happens when I drag it down. Not only do I have all the messages here, I have quick access to a lot of different things like faves or settings and stuff like that, which is really quite convenient. I'm going to use the volume control here to show you how to change your profile for ringers. You can reduce volume and then you can go into silent mode or vibrate only mode, which is what I prefer to use. Here's the browser. This is the Mobile Burn website, the mobile formatted version. You can see it scrolls nice and quickly, very smooth. I'm going to tap over and go to the full site here, just so you can see what it looks like. Obviously the browser works in both landscape and portrait modes. You can see the page is starting to come up. Not quite done though, but everything is rendering quite perfectly. You have multi-touch zooming, and I'm going to wager that once the page is done loading, we'll actually be able to double tap and intelligently zoom too. Very nice. Very smooth action. Seems to be working quite well. And of course it'll also work in portrait mode, just like you would expect. Here's one of our pages with an embedded YouTube video. You can see if you tap on it, it'll automatically load the dedicated YouTube client. I just uploaded this within the last 24 hours, so it's a new video. One thing that people will be happy to see though is there is flash support. This is a flash game I just loaded. I haven't played it before. I can't really tell you how well it works, but you can see it is functioning. Take a quick look around the home screen. You can see not too much on there. I just added this widget here. You can drag it off and replace it with something else if you like. Here's the Faves widget. This shows you inbound messages from your favorite contacts. I still don't think it seems to work as well as it ought to, but take a look at it. Here's weather coming in right now. By default there are 5 home screens. Interestingly enough though, you can see that's an SMS widget right there. If I jump into settings though and go into the personalized section, you can see we have the ability to expand the home screen from 5 to 7 panels. There is a warning of course saying you won't be able to undo that except by doing a factory reset, but I think I'm okay with that. So if we go back down to the home screen now, it's going to restart a bit. Some of the software apps have to restart, but you can see we now have an extra set of panels. But like other modern HTC Sense devices, you can also just hit the home screen button twice and get into a quick thumbnail view where you can select one. Also works with a multi-touch gesture, which is quite cool. If you long press the home button, it'll take you up and show you the most recently launched applications, so you can quickly switch that way as well. I'm going to test out the Genius functionality here. It's voice commands, and I'm going to try something real quick. Send text to Jack Black. Let's do lunch soon, Jack. Thanks. You can see it's processed it. You can see there it says to Jack Black. It's addressed properly. There's a period at the beginning of the text. I don't quite understand that, but it says let's do lunch soon, Jack. Thanks. Worked pretty well. You can obviously do other things with it too, calling people, searching, finding businesses, and that kind of stuff as well. Pretty cool system, and it's unlike Google's voice-to-text system, which goes back to the servers over the network. This seems to be done locally, or at least it appears to be. Not sure, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. I'm going to pop into the Gmail client just so we can take a look at some of the messages here. Here's a test message I sent. You can see it supports formatted text, colors, bolds. Also Office document viewers, so you can look at Word docs or Excel files and things like that. You can see if we go into the main menu here, you'll see Quick Office right there for Office documents. Also a bunch of other apps for weather, stocks, and Amazon's MP3 store. Instant messaging support, you're probably going to see AIM, MSN, and Yahoo here. Yep, that's typical for T-Mobile. Go back to the main menu again. Genius button. A clock, kind of dig that. And of course we also see HTC's Peep, which is a pretty decent Twitter client built right in, has some nice widgets as well. We're going to check out FriendStream, which is HTC's unified social networking application. It supports Facebook and Twitter feeds, pulls them all into one central location. Pretty cool. There's also widgets of course for that as well. We can jump over here and add one of them to FriendStream right there. Have a couple we can select from, different sizes. Let's take the full size one here, and there it is, and everything comes right up. You can see some Twitter messages coming in right there. Scroll down. Pretty nice application. You can tap one to see it. And there you go. Pretty cool. I've got the camera loaded here. You can focus on something by pointing at it and then just pressing the shutter button halfway. Press it the rest of the way to take the photo. It's quite quick and easy. Nice user interface, quick access buttons pop up. You can see you can change flash mode just by tapping on it. You can also move into video mode from the settings screen here. Put it back. We're shooting in VGA resolution video, which is pretty decent. So we're shooting a little bit of video right now, very briefly, and I'll stop that. We'll jump into the gallery so we can take a look at it. So you can move through your images and videos and stuff like that and play the video, and it looks quite nice. So that's my quick look at the T-Mobile myTouch 3G slide. Hardware design, not super impressed. It looks nice, feels a little bit loose though. I think the keys could be labeled a little bit better. Reception is hard to tell. Really bad signal for T-Mobile here where I am right now. We have some other T-Mobile devices. They're all having problems, so I can't really blame this device. Nice. I like the larger 3.4-inch touchscreen. I like a lot of the customizations that T-Mobile and HTC have done with the device. Pretty decent, and not the best Android phone on the market by any stretch, but still pretty cool. So again, that's the T-Mobile myTouch 3G slide. I'm Michael Orrell for MobileBurn.com.